let's grab the ball and sit on your mats. I should have taken this party outside, dang. I gotta close my door. I forgot all about this. Okay, so sit on your mat, take your ball into your lap. Do we all have balls? Yes, I think so. Perfect. Okay, take a breath in. Exhale, blow it out, press down. Good, inhale. Start to feel your core connection. Pressing down into the ball. One more inhale. And exhale. Good, let's actually do one more, and I want to see if you can feel the pelvic floor lifting on your exhale. So when you exhale, you press down into the ball, and you're gonna try to lift, like do a Kegel. And let that pull the belly button in. One more breath like that. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor, knit the ribs down and together. Inhale, release. Good. Take your ball out of your lap and put your hands on your hips. And we're going to do some rib circles. So you'll send the ribs forward, side, back, side, and then reverse your circle. Go the other direction. And just start to feel how, my back doesn't literally crack in this pose, but it feels good. It feels like you're about to like crack all the way up your spine. Good. Relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the head and neck, just letting this flow through your spine. Even yourself out in whatever direction the circles were going. And then take your ball over to one side. Let's inhale up and over to the side. And then exhale, twist down towards the ground. Inhale, open back up to the front. And exhale, come all the way back up tall. Do that again, same side. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, twist down. Inhale, open up. Exhale, grow tall, and then switch your ball now. So it's an inhale, dive over. Exhale, twist down. Inhale, open up. Oh man, that feels good on the spine. Exhale, come tall. One more. Inhale, dive. Exhale, twist down. Man, this part feels really good. I don't know about you. Inhale, open up. Exhale, return. Good. Just leave the ball and you'll round your spine, nod your chin, roll forward. And then inhale, restack your spine all the way up tall. Again, exhale, nod the chin, roll forward. When you roll forward, Brianna, I can see Finley behind you. And then restack the spine all the way back up. Good. Hold on to your knees. Give yourself a little bit of that back bend. So crack open the chest, lift the chin, return to neutral. One more. Pull on the knees. Big little back bend. Return. Good. Okay, shake that out a little bit and let's come into our backs. Bring your ball, just have it nearby. We're not going to use it at the beginning. We're going to do our neutral spine dead bug again. So let's warm up a neutral spine for a second. Make sure your ribs are melting down into the mat beneath you. Check out the pelvic positioning. Let's start by just doing exhale and imprinting your spine. Then inhale, release to neutral. And do that again. Exhale, imprint. Inhale, release to neutral. One more, imprint, and this time roll your hips up one vertebrae at a time into your bridge, and then exhale, roll it back down, or inhale, roll it back down. Release to neutral. Again, imprint, roll it up, and roll it back down. So keep going, kind of just convince your hips to go a little bit higher with each lift, and start to feel your hip flexors stretching out. Start to feel your glutes engage. Hold this next one up, and let's do a couple pulses. Exhale on the pulse. And relaxing the shoulders and melting the rib cage down. So your hips are going up at an even rate. Right and left hip, same height. 4 more, go 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll it down, travel through, imprint, release to neutral, and lock in that neutral. So let's do a couple of breaths like when we had the ball in our lap. Inhale, expand. And when you exhale, lift the pelvic floor, knit the ribs down and together, and feel your abdominal muscles harden. Inhale, sort of release. Your abdominals can stay a little tense there. Exhale, tense them up. One more. We're not going into imprint. You're still neutral. On your next exhale, let's take one leg at a time up into a tabletop position. Legs are hips distance. If you feel confident maintaining a neutral pelvis, Awesome, go for it. Take your hands up towards the sky. On your next exhale, take the right leg and the left arm away from one another. I did the opposite, but whatever. Inhale, bring it back to your starting position. Exhale, other leg, other arm. Inhale, bring it in and keep going. So as you do this, check in and make sure that you're not losing your neutral. But it's also really important to control the pressure in your abdominal muscles. So just because the arm and the leg are reaching away from one another and your low back isn't touching down doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing a good job of controlling neutral. But you know what it feels like to have your pelvis shift around on you. If your pelvis is not shifting, then you are doing a good job controlling that neutral. Let's do one more on each leg here and then continue, but you're going to do both arms one leg. And inhale, bring it back to center. Both arms, other leg. Controlling the pelvis here, controlling the pressure. So the belly button is not pushing up towards the sky, but rather controlling and pushing down or pulling down. One more on each leg, and then if you're feeling really good, you can do both arms, both legs. Just make sure that your legs go quite high on this one. Inhale, back to tabletop. That's because we're in a neutral. If we were in imprint, I would allow you to go a little lower with the legs, but holding neutral is a lot more challenging than holding imprint because we have to find our abdominals on our own without the feedback from the low back touching down and from the crunching abs helping you. Two more. And last one here. Hug those knees in and give it a little rest. Rock them a little side to side and take your ball, put it between your ankles, and stay in tabletop. Good. So imprint the spine now. Let's take a second to feel the difference between where we just were in a neutral spine and how now we're really touching the low back down, lengthening through the low back. Let's exhale and roll the knees in towards the shoulders and then inhale, return back to your tabletop position. So exhale, roll it in. Inhale, return. And if this feels good and this prep is really accessible for you, I gotta scoot a little bit, but you could straighten your legs out and exhale, start to roll over a little bit more and then return back your legs to a diagonal, but you're in an imprint the whole time. Maybe with the straight legs, you're able to get a little bit farther into it. Maybe you feel more comfortable with bent knees where you're really in control of what is working. Not momentum, only abs. Let's do two more. And last one, try to relax the shoulders. Don't let them pop away from the mat. Let's bring it back down. Straighten your legs out all the way to the end of your mat. Flex your feet now, hands up towards the sky. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll it up. All the way up to the top. Round forward over your legs. Inhale, start to roll back. Exhale, roll all the way back. And remember that your spine really has to move and groove here. So as you go through these positions, it's not about holding the same shape in your spine. As you roll back, you'll really, really tuck your low back. But then you have to unroll your low back as you start to unroll your upper spine. Each little piece works on its own. But when you put them all together, they're a wonderfully strong unit. Exhale, roll it back. Let's do one more here. Inhale at the back. Exhale, roll it up. And stay up next time you get there. Just relax over your legs. Give it a little shake out. Good. Maybe you can walk your hands over towards one side and breathe into the opposite side of your spine. And then walk it over to the other. And then we're going to bring it back to center. Let's take the ball up in between the knees now. And I'm pretty sure we all have the same size generally ball. So this is perfect. So when you look at your ball, you're not placing your knees as far apart as your ball. You're placing your knees as far apart as they need to be, and you squeeze your ball however much that needs to happen. Then make sure your ankles line up with your knees, so we're not doing anything different with the feet. Then try to sit up as tall as you can here. Tall through the back line of your body. Take your hands in front of you, palms down. Let's exhale, spin off of your sit bones. The first thing that moves is the low back, and twist one arm open to the side. As you inhale, you'll bring the arm back and come all the way back up tall onto your sit bones. Exhale, spin the pelvis, roll back, other arm. Inhale, bring it back to center, and keep going. Good. So as you do this, you're really leading the movement with your pelvis the whole time. The pelvis is the first thing to roll and tuck back, and then the pelvis is the first thing to sort of get back onto the sit bones to align your spine into neutral. Good. The hip flexors might get a little grippy here because we're working them really hard. They do a lot of work in stabilizing the pelvis, stabilizing the spine, so we need that work. Make sure that the inner thighs are squeezing here. We don't want to let the ball just release. Keep that pressure. Let's even ourselves out. So do one more on each side. And whenever you're ready, you'll come back to center. Just rest your legs for a little bit. I don't know about you, but my hip flexors, it's kind of the first time I feel my hip flexors in a while doing that one. It's been a while since I felt them. Okay, shake it out because we're using them a little bit more. Keep the ball between your knees. Take your legs back into the bend position. You could always straighten your legs out if your hip flexors are like really killing you. But you're going to take your hands out in front of you. We'll still exhale, roll back, but we're not twisting. A bug in here. And then inhale, lift your arms and try to straighten out your upper spine. When you exhale, drop down into the most curved spine you can find. And then inhale, just sit up nice and tall to your starting position. Exhale, spin the pelvis, roll back. Inhale, lift the arms and try to find some length in the upper spine. Exhale, drop down into the most C-curved spine you can make. And inhale, bring it forward. We're just going to do 2 more of those. Exhale, spin the pelvis, roll back. Inhale, try to lift the arms, try to open up the upper spine. Exhale, drop down into your most curved spine. And inhale, bring it forward. Last one. Spin the pelvis, roll back. Good. Inhale, lift the arms, try to open up just the upper back. Exhale, drop into that C curve. Inhale, bring it forward, straighten your legs out, shake it out, take the ball out. Give your hip flexors a little break there. If you want, you can go soles of the feet together, let your knees fall away from each other, kind of shake them out, rock a little side to side, and let's do this. Let's do this one. Let's roll over onto our belly, so face down, and ball is just going to be nearby, close enough that you can grab it in a second, but we're not going to use it right away. Brianna, I think I was just drinking. Is it a PC soda, club soda, something? I just had one of those earlier today. We buy Nova Scotia blueberry juice, like concentrate, whatever the brand is, I can't remember, and then dilute it, and then I put some blueberry juice in that club soda, and it's delicious. For anyone that cares to know how I drink non-alcoholic beverages. Okay. Hands down next to your shoulders. Let's go legs all the way together. Ooh, you know what, Debbie? That's a good idea. This one might be a little challenging for your pubic bone area, so if you do have a little pillow or pad, you might want to grab it. I am going to, but that's purely because I taught this class this morning, and it's not feeling good after one session. Okay. And nose down, legs all the way together, zip them up. Activate your legs. Put your shoulders into a better position where they're not pulling down towards the ground. And then inhale, peel the head and chest up. And exhale, lengthen to lower down, and never lose your core activation. Inhale, peel it up. Exhale, lengthen to lower. So the difficult thing about this move is that we need to think about how to use our core when we're quite literally stretching those muscles, right? When you're opening, when you're back bending, your abs are stretching open. But that doesn't mean that we have to release them and let them go. We want to try to use them in an eccentric way. Eccentric meaning opening and still active. So how do you do that? Can you wrap your rib cage down and in? Can you try to pull the belly button up and in? Can you try to lift the pelvic floor? Let's make this our last one, and then scoot your hands a little bit farther out in front of you. So just a couple inches there. Open up your legs, angle the heels in, toes out. We're gonna do those fun push-ups again, because I really liked them. So activate your legs, set your shoulders, peel the head and chest up, and press into the hands. So now the elbows come off of your mat. Yep, we're in a back bend, but don't give in to it. tuck out of it. Feel your glutes, they are super, super tight. Then bend your elbows and press them back up straight. Inhale, tap the elbows to the mat. Exhale, press. Keep the shoulders nice and protracted and rounded the whole time. If it feels a little bit too much like a back bend for you and you want a little less back bend, just walk your hands farther to the front of your mat. If you want a little more back bend, walk your hands closer to you. But don't let that crunch your low back. If you feel anything in your low back that's not muscles tensing, then you might want to walk your hands forward. So squeeze those glutes. Your pelvis is in a position, your legs are in a position where they have to be engaged to make this position happen. 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's take the elbows down, relax the upper body, shimmy your butt a little side to side. Just get a little release there. Good. And let's do the ball roll in. So it's the same position, but different arms. Stack your forearms on top of the ball. Let your hands hang off of the opposite end. Straighten the legs out, activate them, find a little tuck of the tailbone, and use an exhale to press down into the ball as you roll it in. And then inhale, lengthen to lower and return. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, lengthen to lower and return. So this makes it even harder, right? Because we're really opening up the front body. Can you still find your core connection here? Can you still figure out how to do a little pelvic floor lift? Keep your abs engaged, tensing your abdominal muscles without needing to shorten them. You're literally lengthening them as you tense them. Let's do one more. Exhale, press up and open. Inhale, return, remove the ball, take your hands under your shoulders, and press back into a shell stretch and breathe. A yummy, yummy shell stretch. So really rock side to side here. Really round your low back. And check out the difference how it feels to go from a child's pose into a shell stretch, where you can round your low back a little bit more in the shell, and you feel your upper back a little bit more in the child's pose. They're both great positions. Let's sit up and find a side plank. So, since we all have a ball, let's do ball between the knees to start, and then I'm going to change it up. Okay, I'm going to do elbow down, I think. And then lift into your side plank. Take a second, get everything in line, get that all figured out, and we'll inhale, lengthen the spine, lower the hips. Exhale to lift back into your side plank. Inhale, lengthen and lower. Exhale. Good. So I'm trying not to say tap the hips down, because you might not tap your hips down, basically. You might just be lowering a little bit and then lifting. Let's do 2 more like this. Last one, and hold your hips up in that side plank. Use your top knee to press down into the ball. Exhale. Oh my God, I whistled. I don't even know how to whistle. Can't do it when I try. Keep your ribs in, keep your core engaged for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lower this down and take the ball and bring it underneath your rib cage now. Good. Straighten out your bottom arm. The legs still stay in that little easy bench position. Top hand behind your head and lower all the way down into your fully vertical, horizontal position. Exhale, peel the head and shoulders up into your side crunch. Inhale, lower back down. Good. Exhale, peel it up. Inhale, lower. After a couple of these, if you're feeling really good about your positioning, you could try to take your bottom hand up behind your head and do this with no hands, essentially. It's tough. It sometimes means you can't lower all the way back to horizontal, but I just took my elbow and slid it forward, and that gave me enough room to lower down. Yeah, let's do 1 more here. Lower down, take your hand, press yourself up. Whew, shake the shoulders out. Breakdance move over to the other side. My glutes are really sore from I love the Zoom teaching I've been doing. What are we doing next? Oh, ball between the knees and elbow down to start. We'll do this little side plank series. Pick your hips up and do any adjustments that you need to do. I always find I have to adjust a little bit. And then lengthen to lower your hips. Exhale, lift them back up. Inhale, lengthen and lower. Exhale. Good. Keep that length through your spine. Sometimes when we go into side bending positions, we get so into the side bend that we end up really crunching down, and then we collapse the shoulder and we collapse the rib cage. But we want to find this really nice length, this really big arc through the spine as you lower and lift. Let's do two more. So you're inhaling down, exhale, last one, and hold it up, and then take your top knee and press it down into the ball. Good. Try to avoid letting the rib cage do weird things as you press into the ball. Let your inner thighs be the only thing moving and working for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hips down, take your ball and put it underneath your ribs now. Let's do long arm to start. Top hand behind your head. Good. Get all the way horizontal and then exhale, peel it up to the side. Inhale, lower down. Good. And find that articulation. The spine really likes waves. It really likes moving one little piece at a time and letting that sort of activate the next part, activate the next part, activate the next part. Each little piece works on its own and then makes one large unit. If you want, you can take your bottom hand behind your head. Here we go. Good. And try to do it with no arms. That's my true reaction to the no arms one. Basically, it's like 10 times harder and takes a lot more concentration. And don't forget that we still want to be able to use the front side of our abs. So we don't want to be letting the belly hang down just to crunch the top side. Let the whole core support you. 2 more. And last one. Hi-ya. Okay, let that go. Push up. Let me check the time. Oh, perfect timing. All right. Let's come onto our backs. Put the ball aside for just a second. Let's do one more little ab series from our backs, and then we'll finish off with the glutes. So let's find imprint and hold it. All right, abs are on, ready to work. Hands behind your head, elbows up where you can see them. We're gonna leave the feet on the ground for this one, and one leg will be lifting at a time rather than coming from a tabletop. So peel the head and shoulders up. And I said we're leaving the feet on the ground, but I'll show you they actually are lifting one at a time. Let's twist over towards one side and lift that leg at the same time. Then inhale, just come back to center. Don't lower the head and shoulders. Exhale, twist over to the other side, lift that leg. Inhale, bring it back to center. Keep going. So I want you to try to pay attention to what the bony structure of your pelvis is doing. It's gonna look like your pelvis is moving because the muscles are, right? The muscles are totally activating, deactivating, but is the bony structure staying generally the same? Are you seeing a deep fold in the hip crease when you twist? We want that. We want to stay high in the crunch, but we don't want the shortening of the waist. We are twisting, we're not hiking that hip up. Let's do one more on each side. Last one here. Come back to center, lower your head and shoulders, put the ball between your knees, and find neutral. Open up to neutral, feet stay on the ground, lift your hips up into a bridge, pause at the top of your bridge. Good. Check in with your low back. How's the low back doing? Are you really tucking? Are you overarching? I will say it's very hard to over tuck, so I usually cue for you to tuck your tailbone a little bit. Okay, when you inhale, tap your sacrum down, exhale, lift it back up into a bridge. Inhale down, exhale, inhale, and so how are the feet doing in this one? I want to bring your awareness to your feet. Can you separate your toes nice and wide on your mat, but make sure that the ball of your foot, the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, and the heel are all connecting to the mat. So don't let the big toe mound lift up just because the ball is between the knees, right? Let's do 2 more full range. Last one, hold your hips up. 1 leg at a time. You're going to take the right heel up into a high heel position, then put that heel down. Left leg does the same thing, and alternate right and left. Keep going. But you might want to take your hands to your sassy hips here because we don't want the pelvis rotating. And sometimes when the legs move, the pelvis tries to rotate. Keep your core active, meaning don't let your rib cage open up and release. That puts all of the pressure on the low back, and we want the abs to do that, not the low back. 4 more here. Go 4, 3, 2, then do both heels at once. They're up and down, up and down. Good. Whatever speed works for you. If you've got music on, do it to your music. Watch that when your heels lower, that your pelvis doesn't lower. That's going to try to happen. 4 more. Spread the toes wide. 3. When you lift, try to keep the big toe mound and baby toe mound on the mat. Last one. Heels down, hips down. Throw the ball. Ugh, and windshield wiper the knees. Side to side. Whew. Let that go. Feel how the weight change as you windshield wiper the knees. Gives your butt a massage a little bit. That's what I just tensed up for because my butt is really sore. You know when you do a really good glute workout and you're just like, everything that touches it, you're like, oh. That's what I'm feeling right now. Okay, let's take the right ankle. Cross it over the left knee. Pull behind the left knee. Start at center. Do whatever rock side to side means to you. Find a couple of breaths there. And then glue your pelvis to your mat. And see if you can just let the legs rock side to side. So instead of moving the pelvis, just the legs are kind of going back and forth here. Yeah, and it just feels a little different. Good. All right, let that go. Switch legs. So pull the left leg into a stretch. Come to center. Do whatever rock side to side previously meant to you. And then try to glue the pelvis down. So it's going to take a little bit more abs. And I usually kind of have to let go of my legs because if I hold on to them, the pelvis moves with me. So try to see if you can let the legs go side to side, not the pelvis. It feels good and it feels different. Let's let that go. Rock back, roll yourself up to seated. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's do this one. Let's take, are we all able to do this? I'm going to try it. Take one ankle and stack it on top of the other knee and try to get the top knee stacked on top of the bottom ankle. So your legs are like a pretzel, sort of. And if that's not possible, that's fine. Just put them on the ground. But we want to avoid pulling the foot in here, not because it's wrong, but because you'll get a better stretch if it's ankle, knee, knee, ankle, not further in. Good. Okay, and then if you can travel forward in this stretch, awesome. Try to travel forward. I'm going to be honest, this is about as far as I can go today. So breathe through it. And then sit back up and you'll try to switch your leg position. So it's not a typical cross-legged position. It's ankle on top of knee, knee on top of ankle. Then if it feels okay, if you can handle it, you can travel forward a little bit with the upper body. Maybe just a little sway, rock side to side, whatever feels good for you. And then bring it back in. Comfy leg position. Let that go. Let's dive up and over to one side. And up and over to the other. Good. Sit up nice and tall. Lift through the crown of your head. Just nod your chin into your chest. And rock your head side to side.